happens tonight. A West Coast battle between the 49ers and the Rams is just a few hours away. Oh, look at SoFi Stadium. It's gorgeous. The 49ers dealing with a ton of injuries. We are going to update you on all of that. The Rams could be licking their chops tonight, but it's the NFL, so you never want to assume anything, right? As we welcome you in here, Lindsay Theory is in L.A. covering tonight's game. Of course, she joins us now. Lindsay, as I said, injuries a big issue for San Francisco right now. Let's start with the quarterback position, where Brock Purdy is out tonight.
Laura, Brock Purdy's out. Mac Jones will get the start again. He has confidence in his ability to step up. He won a couple games for the Niners in weeks 2 and 3. He says he believes in his process when it comes to preparation, regardless of whether he knows he's going to start or come in off the bench. Obviously tonight, very clear he will be the starter. Here's what's going to be Mac Jones' biggest challenge tonight, among other things. Who is he throwing the football to? He's without several receivers. Juwan Jennings is out. Ricky Pearsall is out. And let's not forget, Brandon Ayuk is yet to play this season. George Kittle is on injured reserve. So we're probably going to see a lot of Christian McCaffrey. Demarcus Robinson will start, as will Kendrick Bourne. I have to check the depth chart because they are so far down that chart, Laura, as they try to make do with a lot of backups. And plus, Mac Jones says in his preparation for the Rams, he believes that they are the best defense right now in the NFL.
Yeah, it's great stuff. We'll continue to keep you updated on everything around this game as it's coming your way. 2 3-1 teams, by the way, despite what the 49ers are dealing with their injuries. Thanks to Lindsay. All right, Byron Young and the rest of this Rams defense has been impressive in the early going. That's what the 49ers are dealing with tonight. Currently tied for second in sacks, top 5 in turnovers and touchdowns allowed. 49ers offense, meanwhile, has struggled to take care of the ball. Their 8 turnovers, tied for the most, actually, in the NFL. Dan Orlovsky and Jason McCourty are here. What's up, guys?
What's going on, Tap? How you doing? Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Rod. Thank you, guys.
Happy
you know
birthday.
Nowhere else I'd rather be spending my birthday. Well,
really?
No, but this is
watching a Rams touchscreen?
This is pretty great. I can't wait for that. Dan, why is this Rams defense such a problem for teams right now?
Yeah, so one of the things that happened this year with this Rams, or last year, was that front four became such a viable part of their rush, and they were relatively vanilla with a lot of the things they did last year schematically. Then this year, what they've started to do is kind of expedite the simulated pressure from their defenses. And I would tell everybody from the offensive perspective, some of the things that they're doing with those simulated pressures and the lack of information they're giving quarterbacks with both the rush and the coverage is one of the reasons why that they are creating such dominant matchups and a lot of confusion for quarterbacks. So I'll start with the first one. A couple things. When I, as a quarterback, get to the line of scrimmage, I see this, basically a flat line. Naturally, that's a cover 0 indicator or cover 4, but I'm not really getting any information from the defense starting point. The second thing is I see a vacancy space-wise in the slot. So I'm like, okay, well, I'm anticipating a pressure then because somebody has to have some type of responsibility, either person or area. And then I go here. Well, that defensive end is standing up. He's probably going to be a dropper, but then that defensive end is standing up as well. So that's not an indicator either. What happens is this. The Rams are going to bring pressure. They're going to do that simulated pressure where they go here, here, and up the field. And then this guy's a pressure guy. Now, J-Mac, I get a dropper, right? I get that dropper right there. And from an offensive perspective, I go, okay, I got 1, 2, but they have 1, 2, 3. Well, that's advantage them. I'm outnumbered.
Absolutely.
And then I go up top and they go, I have 1, 2, 3, but you have 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm in a bad space offensively.
Exactly. And for us as a defense right now, I love that you showed this, and it's just a 4-man rush. But when you give us empty, now we have a lot of times have to get into what we call our empty check. And this right here is a defense that allows them to go 4-on-3 up top. And then now here for these guys down the bottom, he knows I have help inside and I can force that, but I'm going to have to close to this guy because he's just a spot dropper. He's not going to collision or run with this guy. The beauty of this is up top. Now you get a chance to have 2 DBs, a safety right here and a corner up top. They're looking to see how these 3 are displaced once the ball snaps. 2 of these guys go vertical. That means I have the inside guy, you have the outside guy.
And for me, like when I see this safety drive this, because this ball almost gets picked off, I look at it and go, well, if that safety's driving it, I want to launch a post, right?
Absolutely.
But you guys have outstanding leverage when it comes to this safety or this corner playing inside leverage, and it almost ends up an interception. Then I'll go to the next one. This guy's Jared Verse. This is a Defensive Player of the Year candidate. As a quarterback, I'm sitting there going, okay, I have to protect those 4 or 5 guys. I'm getting all those people walking around as a defense. I need the ball to get snapped on the road, which is where San Francisco is going to be tonight. And now all of a sudden, that guy gets pressure running through my center, and then there's that shell coverage. As an offense, I have nowhere to go with the football, also having to deal with the huge pressure.
And the beauty of this is you see all of those guys running around. Behind Daniel Jones is a play clock. This is a third down situation. Those guys are paying attention to the motion, to the tap by the guard, but they're also looking at that play clock, knowing when they got to get down and get to this blitz. And the beauty of it is now you have a dropper, and all we're doing is playing coverage.
And you guys got 7 guys in coverage once again with only 4 rushers, and they get Verse on the center. That's going to happen tonight. The Rams are going to find the person that they would want Jared Verse matched up on, the guy that they think pass rush-wise gives them the best chance one-on-one, but they're not exposing their secondary number-wise. That's going to be a challenge for the 49ers tonight. It's also going to be a challenge for all offenses playing against that defense.
Yeah, J-Mac, what's the counter from San Francisco's offense tonight, especially considering that, as Lindsay told you off the top, you're going through the entire depth chart, people are injured.
They only have 2 players on their team, McCaffrey and Juszczyk, of guys that actually caught passes for them a year ago. So they're going to lean a ton on Christian McCaffrey, and that's what they've been doing. Now it's about how you deploy him and where you move him around. Right here, he's almost in a tight end position, gets matched up on an outside linebacker, and here it is, easy pitch and catch to the outside. They're not just going to keep him in the backfield. This I love. Motion to a slot receiver. Now you get 3 guys and it's empty. You expect McCaffrey to run a running back route, but this isn't that. He runs what we call a 7-cut, a deeper out, and scores the touchdowns against the New Orleans Saints. This, Dan, I don't know where you call this placement of the running back. Motion's out. He's in a wide receiver stance. He runs a comeback.
Oh, yeah.
This is a wide receiver route that he's able to get one-on-one and beat his guy. And this is a 4th down situation. Motions to a bunch on the outside, and now you force communication between 2 DBs, and here it is on a 4th and 2. They pick up a 1st down. This is in the 4th quarter of this game. So for McCaffrey, how do you move him around Kyle Shanahan? Because they're going to be keyed in on him, but you still got to find ways to get him
and real
involved.
quick, easily, I think the 49ers need to find easier completions for their quarterback early tonight. A lot of last week was Brock Purdy too much downfield. Easier completions tonight.
One area to watch was CMC. The Rams have the best goal-to-go defense this season. McCaffrey has the most goal-to-go rushing attempts. Let's get Adam Schefter in here with some top stories. And Sheffy, we start in Baltimore. All eyes on Lamar Jackson's status this week.
Laura, for the 2nd straight day today, Lamar Jackson did not practice due to that hamstring injury, and it's looking like he'll be unable to play Sunday against the Houston Texans, which would mean that Cooper Rush would step in and start for Lamar Jackson. Let's keep in mind, the Ravens play the Rams at home next week before there's a bye, so they could opt to hold him out of 2 games and get a month's worth of rest. Let's also keep in mind one other issue for the Baltimore Ravens. Their Pro Bowl safety Kyle Hamilton did not practice today due to a groin injury that it seems he sustained during practice yesterday. So they already are missing a whole bunch of starters. They're missing Lamar, and now they could be without Kyle Hamilton as well.
Golly, it's like the theme of the day for any team that's facing the Rams in upcoming weeks. J-Mac, whether it's Lamar or Cooper Rush, is there a vulnerability in that Texans defense, though, that Baltimore can try to exploit?
I love the Houston Texans defense, but if I'm the Baltimore Ravens, whether Lamar's out there or not, I'm handing the ball off to Derrick Henry. 4 career games of 200 yards against the Houston Texans. And a part of that is getting to the 2nd level. If you can get up to those linebackers, which are pullers, which are down linemen, you can gain some yardage against them and force those smaller backers who run all over the field to have to go through your big guys up front to make tackles. It's also an advantage to have your quarterback under center and Derrick Henry behind him, and him running downhill and being able to dictate where he wants to go and cut off of those blockers. I think it's huge for the Baltimore Ravens for him to get going. He had 18 rushes in week 1. Since then, it's been below 15, falling all the way to 8 last week.
Yeah, the Texans have allowed the 2nd most yards per rush versus pistol formation over the last 2 seasons. Great stuff from J-Mac. All right, more quarterback news here, Adam. This time in Washington, where Jaden Daniels has missed the last 2 weeks. What do we know about his status?
Doctors have cleared him to return to practice, and he believes he's going to be able to play on Sunday against the Los Angeles Chargers. So that's good news for Jaden Daniels, who missed the last 2 weeks with a knee sprain. He was replaced by Marcus Mariota, but the doctors feel like he's made progress with the 2 weeks off, the 2 games he's missed, and now he is expected to be out there on Sunday, back behind center for the Washington Commanders.
Dan, sorry, we were stretching over here. Dan, even if Jaden is back out there, you think there are much bigger problems in D.C. right now?
Oh, my goodness. Their defense right now on tape is a really difficult watch, and it's a little bit of the young guys, and then it's a lot of guys that have unbelievable careers in this league. Number one, how they handle motion in their communication. They're rocking and rolling that safety and backside safety. They're changing man coverage responsibilities. One's trying to communicate to the corner at the bottom of the screen, and all of a sudden both that corner and that drop-down safety end up playing Drake London by themselves. Nobody's playing Kyle Pitts. It's man-to-man coverage, so communication and motion settings. Number two, Marshawn Lattimore is an all-time great corner over the last 10 to 15 years. Right now, he's just struggling in man coverage, and teams are realizing it, and they're just taking shots at him, either getting that shot hit or getting a penalty. Bobby Wagner, outstanding Hall of Fame linebacker. I think teams are searching him out in man coverage, and I think that's where the Commanders are, is like, they don't necessarily want to be in man coverage, but they have to be in man coverage, but they can't be in man coverage. And then nosy eyes. This is, once again, man-to-man. You have a certain person, every guy for guy. Both defenders at the bottom of the screen in this little ball fake have their eyes in the backfield, not in their guy. Michael Penix has 2 options to throw the football to. And so I think for Washington, indifferent of who's playing quarterback, if they're going to be the team that they thought they were going to be coming off of last year, they got to get back to some really good base fundamentals of how they're going to play defense. Right now, their defense is the biggest question mark of their football team.
All right, more from Adam throughout the show. Injury Report Live. I was going to say NFL Live, but really it is Injury Report Live at this point. Let's get some more from Adam here. Let's start with an update on Bucky Irving in Tampa. What's the latest there?
Laura, he was not at practice again today for a second straight day. He's dealing with a mid-foot sprain. It certainly doesn't sound like he's going to play this week. The Buccaneers say it is not a long-term injury. It'll be a week-to-week injury for Bucky Irving, but it certainly sounds like Seattle on Sunday seems like a long shot, which would mean that Rachaad White and Sean Tucker would have to carry the Buccaneers' backfield. As for the Cardinals running back, Trey Benson, he underwent arthroscopic surgery this week on his knee to clean up his meniscus. He'll be sidelined 4 to 6 weeks, and this comes after the Arizona Cardinals already lost James Conner to a season-ending ankle injury. Now it's time for Amari DiMercato and Michael Carter. Here are some notable players coming off PUP list this week to return to practice. Nakobe Dean stands out, Tajay Spears, Taysom Hill, some notable players that could come in and help their teams. These teams have 21 days in which to have these players practice and then decide whether or not to activate them. But the fact that they began practicing this week certainly is an encouraging sign that all will return.
Yeah, Jonathan Mingo at the bottom of that list with CeeDee Lamb out. You got to think, try to get him back as soon as they can for the Cowboys. All right, that was Injury Live. Let's go on to On Trend around the NFL. We're going to start with last week's debut of Jackson Dart. Dart kept it short against the Chargers. 16 of his 20 pass attempts going 10 or fewer yards through the air. 4 of his 6 first downs on Sunday came on those throws. So did also his only passing touchdown. Dan, does that trend continue this week in New Orleans?
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. Part of it is just the playing style that this offense has to play in. There's not really a deep threat outside of Malik Neighbors. Slayton's a good player. Wan'Dale Robinson works the middle of the field a little bit more. Theo Johnson. I love how Dart worked the middle of the field and played fast. So that's part of who they have to be offensively. It's also a little bit, if you watch this Saints defense, what they try to do. They're not going to give you a ton of shots down the field. You got to be very disciplined and methodical in how you do it. That's how Jackson Dart has to play this week.
On Trend continues with Xavier Worthy. Patrick Mahomes looking for his returning target in week 4, averaged over 16 air yards per target, a career high in any game that Worthy's had at least one reception, including the playoffs. J-Mac, does the deep passing game continue for Worthy this week on Monday Night Football against the Jags?
I don't believe so. They played the Baltimore Ravens, and their defense has become a stat game for every team that they go against. I'm looking at this Jacksonville Jaguars defense led by defensive coordinator Anthony Campanelli. He prides this defense on aggression and violence, but they also play with a ton of too high shell, and that's playing cover 4, cover 6, doing different things to limit the big plays. The issue is when they get there, they are wreaking havoc, punching at the ball and intercepting passes.
Let's go to the Patriots. Drake